live, which is really cool. I apologize. Last week I had to switch the days of my stream. I had some family in town, and so I just had to switch forward a couple of days, and then now I am back on my regularly scheduled time, and I should be here for a while. I've been taking a look at the early release or early access of the Lord of the Rings Living Card Game by Fantasy Flight Interactive. It's their first development as a sub company of the Fantasy Flight Games, which is a particular favorite of mine as a board gamer. I also have a regular stream on Saturdays with a group of great people and called Table Flipping Games. You can always look for that on DeFebwar's channel. DEF EBWAR. Yes, I got it. So DeFebwar's channel, you can access that and check us out. And I'll try to add these details in the show notes at some point. I'm still kind of developing, getting everything set up. But we are here tonight to stream the Lord of the Rings card game. I'm a big fan of this company, and I'm a big fan of this game. I played the physical game, and I've been watching the development, watching a lot of the streams that they've been doing as they've been developing this game, and now I have early access, and so I'm showing you some of the really cool things that are available on the game for anyone who has early access. Speaking of, I want to talk really quickly about some news that came out today. They just announced that people who have early access, as a thank you, they're going to be giving out some new cards and content. And so I think it's happening this Friday. So when I come back for next week's stream, I'll be able to talk about those new cards. Hopefully I can spot them pretty easily, what new cards I have available, and I'll be able to show you guys. But I think that this is a great indication of the support that they're going to give to early access subscribers. So if you really are thinking about it, you're on the fence, maybe they'll start providing some more incentive, and they'll continue to provide incentive for people who get early access. So it might be a good time to jump on board, even with just not necessarily purchasing the big tier that I did. You could purchase even as cheaply as like $5 or $6 and jump in pretty easily and have access to all this early loot that we're getting as being subscribers, early subscribers. The other big announcement that I was really excited about, that they announced recently, and I did not mention it last week, but I meant to, was that they have announced that this card game will be available on the Switch. There are a lot of huge board games that are coming over, especially under. So how to kind of explain this is Fantasy Flight Interactive is a sub company of Fantasy Flight Games, and Fantasy Flight Games is sort of a partner sub company of Asmodee Games, which is like the European grand overarching board game company that sort of has been buying up these smaller companies or kind of partnering up with them. And as part of this partnership, Asmodee is also kind of putting out a lot of interactive board game versions for you can play them, a lot of them on your iPhone or iPad. But now they are developing these games. They're beginning development, and they've announced development for the Switch, which is really cool because I have a feeling this console especially its portability, is going to be huge as far as taking gaming with you, being able to game anywhere you want, and it will be great for, I think, really huge for this card game in general, to be able to play it on our system that really runs really well. So you'll be able to play and it'll look great, and it'll still be portable. You can take it around with you really easily. So with that in mind, hopefully that news is just like the beginning of the ball rolling on all these really cool things that are happening with the game and development. I think I'm seeing some really great steps so far as ensuring that this game is going to have the longevity that a lot of the other games have. And like I've said before, I think this game offers something that's very different. A lot of people kind of talk about it being similar to Hearthstone in a lot of ways. I can kind of see some of the resemblance maybe aesthetically in some ways of the card frames and the UI and things like that. But for the most part, I feel like there are lots of things that are unique about it that really help it stand apart. Namely, for me, the big thing, if you watch Table Flipping Games, you know that one of the things I'm really excited about are cooperative games. And so this is really the first deck building game that is available, I feel, that's really a truly cooperative experience from the ground up. It's not kind of an add-on that's tacked on later like some games have. It's really thought through from the beginning as a cooperative game, which I really, really like that. And so I think this will kind of make this game stand out, and people will start to see that once they play it, that there's really a lot more depth, and there's a lot of distinction from other games of the same type. So tonight I'm going to be doing two things. One, I want to continue my playthrough of the campaign that you get when you purchase the starter pack, and it's a 5-quest campaign. I've completed the first one on easy, normal, and hard mode, and I was actually victorious the first playthrough on all of those, but of course that is the beginning scenario, so of course it is going to be easier. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay on normal. I'm going to play through the other quests so I can kind of give everyone a look at those, an early preview. If you don't want spoilers, then I definitely have another kind of aspect to the stream, another thing I want to do today, which is take a look at the deck builder. That's the one thing I really haven't looked at yet. Last time I looked at the Palantir. I'm really wanting to go in and do one more Palantir draw just for fun. Maybe I'll try to do one every stream. So if you remember from last week, Palantir is you have, based on, you can purchase with money or you can earn them as rewards just for questing. You get these views into the Palantir, and when you look into the Palantir, it's going to give you some kind of random, so far I've gotten two things. I've gotten a random superficial or decorative element like a frame or an image, an avatar, and then I usually get one card, which is awesome, because I've purchased everything that's common or uncommon, and so now the card draws are usually going to give me something rare that would normally cost me a lot of valor. But of course I have a lot fewer Palantir views than I do valor, so we'll take a look here, see what we get. I like the flashing pictures. You kind of get a little bit of a preview before you get it. So I got a really cool new, I'm not sure who this hobbit is, but a new avatar. It might be Frodo or Bilbo. And then I also got a rare card, which are pretty expensive, a rare spirit card. Apply a hero's attack as progress to an objective. Wow, that's awesome. So basically you can turn any huge fighter like Gimli into a quester as well. So lots of cross skill cards in play now, which is really cool. It was one of the tough things about the physical game is if you were playing by yourself, you really had to multi-sphere, or if you're playing with a few players, you had to multi-sphere because each deck was very had a very clear line between them. And so playing, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight too, is this idea of how is this game going to work for if it's always going to be a max of 2 players versus the physical game, which is 4 players. And I'm already seeing some ideas about how they're sort of evolving, which is obviously making a little bit more of a cross-skill ability with certain cards. So that card I just got, for example, allows really strong tactic heroes, which normally just do damage to monsters, to also be good questers possibly at some point. And so I can see if you're only going to have 2 players that they're making it still possible, or they're going to make it more likely that you can still play like a single sphere deck with 3 heroes of only 1 sphere and still be able to do 2 things as opposed to just 1 thing. I am hoping that eventually we'll get a 4-player game going on this, 4-player co-op, because to me that was so much fun. It's obviously the hardest difficulty to do 4 players, but there's also something really cool about having 4 people to kind of combo off of and create really cool synergies with. Unfortunately, I'm not still... Yeah, that's true. It is a spirit card, so you would either have to still be multi-sphere and have like a tactics hero with it that you could play it on, or you'd have to try to find like the highest attacking spirit hero, which I'm guessing there's probably not a lot of. But it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that can develop. But I'm going to take a look at the deck builder. That's one thing I haven't really looked at too much. We'll take a look at that first. Now the nice thing is everything will be listed here. Every deck you create will be listed here, and it has all the heroes pictured. And then I believe if you select a deck, yeah, you can go into the deck and actually look at the cards that you have. The cards tell you the title, and they have a really cool banner. The picture that they have of each card is really cool. They include a little excerpt of it. On the left, it tells you the sphere, the color, in other words, and the cost. And then on the right, it tells you how many copies of that card you have in your deck. You can only have 2 of any kind, which is why I either have 1 or 2 of any card. And then the deck cannot go over 30, which is different than the physical card game. I believe in the physical card game you can build a deck as large as you want, but there was a minimum of, I want to say 50. It's been forever. But the physical game does have a higher minimum of cards, but you can actually go over it, whereas here you have to have exactly 30. You can't have less or more. So it's interesting. Creates an interesting difference and card build limitation. So you can see your heroes, you can go through, modify some things. I believe the starter deck is locked, so you can't modify it or save over. I believe you could start with it and then modify it if you wanted to. But I am going to create a brand new deck. I haven't done that yet. And of course I've got to name it. So we'll just call this Game Face's first deck. When you start it, you've got to decide your heroes. I think you can kind of do this however you want. If you want to start with cards, you can also pick your card backs eventually, but you can start with cards. Oh, I see. So this is kind of cool. Until I pick a hero, I don't have access to anything but neutral cards. And the reason why that is because the heroes determine what kind of cards you have access to. For example, if I don't pick any leadership cards like Aragorn's purple leadership, if I don't pick him as a hero, I cannot have any purple cards in my deck, even the lowly ones. So I guess I do have to pick my hero first, just so I have access to some cards. But it's kind of cool that you could do one hero at a time. Right now I do have 1 copy of Tom. He's legendary. He's pretty expensive to buy. I'm hoping I'll get him in a Palantir view later on. He's a pretty great card. He's fleeting, sort of like Gandalf, so he only stays for 1 round and leaves at the end of the round. When he arrives, though, instead of doing damage, he actually completely defeats an enemy. And then he has a pretty strong attack, willpower, and health like Gandalf. Just a little bit less powerful as far as those 3 stats. And then I have a Valor neutral card. If the threat meter goes to 50, I lose 3 threats. So it's like an automatic, it's a preparation card, so it's kind of a surprise for Sauron to think, oh, I'm on the verge of winning, and then he gets 50, and then you trigger that card, and you go back down to 47. It's pretty cool. So the question is, what am I going to do? I have 8 hero choices, 2 from each sphere. It's kind of interesting they aren't grouped together, but it's alright. So one of the heroes I have not seen yet. We've seen Aragorn. His power is you can use a resource to reactivate him, so he can activate a second time. It's very similar to the physical game, except I believe that Aragorn could quest and take another action, but I think here you can basically do many different things. If you want to attack twice with him, there's lots more options as far as rejuvenating him. He is a really high threat level, probably the highest in the game besides Faramir. And Arwen is a card that didn't come in the physical game for a few expansions. I'm not exactly sure how long, but it was a while before she actually came out. But here she's available from the start. I already played her. She heals every round. Dwaylen is another new leadership hero. He's pretty awesome. I love when you click on the cards. It has this really cool kind of 3D effect. So it definitely adds a really cool dimension and texture. He's got a pretty high threat, not too bad. He does good damage, has a lot of health. He has a willpower, but the nice thing is as he loses health, he becomes more powerful for fighting or questing. I guess he becomes more focused, dedicated to the cause. Eowyn was also a starting character. I can't remember if she's in the starter deck. No, Arwen is. So Eowyn is in the starter set. No, I had to purchase her as a pack. I remember now. Shield Maiden. So This is one of my favorite characters from the game. If I had to play a spirit deck, I loved having Eowyn because she was so awesome at questing. And once again, she has a pretty awesome questing skill where she gains +2 willpower, which helps you complete quests the round after the first time a character is damaged. So I believe her power is similar to Gimli's. Yeah, but instead of gaining damage, which is awesome for his sphere, she gains willpower, and it's actually 2 willpower instead of 1 attack power that Gimli gets. So she becomes a great quester as well, and then she has a pretty good health. She's probably one of the one of the least expensive types of threat costs, which most of the spirit heroes are. If you notice, the 2 spirit hero decks, or 2 spirit hero cards, are the cheapest in the game. That's similar to the physical game. The spirit heroes are usually the quietest and the subtlest, and so therefore their spirit is usually lower. Tom Took is the other spirit hero. He has not great attack, pretty good willpower, pretty good health, but his power is that he can cancel damage from the next enemy attack. So as an action, he basically reduces the attack power of an enemy. The only problem is you don't get to choose who that enemy is. It's whoever Sauron attacks with next. So that's tough to do because usually Sauron tries to attack with the biggest monster with the most damage right off the bat. So the question is, that would maybe only be a good card to have if there's only one enemy at a time out, or few enemies. Legolas, another great hero from the basic set. He's a little bit different. Instead of basically in the physical game, he would do damage as he would quest as he did damage. So if he would kill an enemy, he would apply some progress to the quest that you're working on. Here he doesn't have really very good willpower, but he is a range attacker, so he can bypass guards. He also, every upkeep, does regular damage to every enemy, so that's pretty cool. There's some enemies that are pretty easy to kill with that upkeep of damage, or you can whittle them down enough and then Legolas can pick them off right away before anybody gets an action. Gimli, once again, great character. In the other game, he would do damage as enemies were played by the encounter deck. Here in this virtual game, he just does damage after the first character is damaged in the round, so you always want to play him do his actions later on after someone's been hurt. But then he has all that extra damage for the rest of the round. Faramir's the last heroic character. He's got a high cost, as high as Aragorn. Does pretty good damage, not that great willpower, pretty good health. He is ranged, and I believe that Vanquish, I keep wondering about this. Yeah, Tom Took is pretty cool. He does seem pretty cool. I believe Vanquish is if you kill an enemy, you get to draw a card. I need to look that up. Look at a glossary. So the glossary is nice. You can go right to triggers upon defeating a target. Yes, so I can, with Faramir, every time I kill someone, I get to draw a card. That's pretty good. So it looks like we've got pretty good setup with extra attack, extra willpower, and extra card draws. But the question is, do I want to go that route? Do I want to... Because I had an idea what I was going to do for my first deck. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the classic heroes from the physical game, which I won't be able to play one of them. So I have to decide between Legolas and Gimli. I'm going to take Aragorn. Oh, so you have to drag him over to the hero, to the
If
deck
by
side.
life or death I can save you, I will.
Can you guys hear the volume on the stream this time for the game? I hope so. I've been tweaking with it. And then I can take Eowyn for sure.
I do not fear either pain or death.
Now the question is, who do I want for the tactics, Legolas or Gimli? It's tough to decide. It is tough to decide. Take Gimli. I believe Joe
My
told me
axe
that I
is
had to take
restless in
Gimli
my hands.
in my deck, so we'll take him. So this is sort of an homage or a nod to the physical card game. We'll see how well the physical... If you take Legolas, I quit. Alright, alright. I won't take Legolas this time, but I do want to make a deck with him. But we've definitely got an homage or a thank you, a nod to the original physical core set game, except one less hero. So now at this point, as you can see, I have access to all the cards that are available to the Leadership, Spirit, and Tactics deck. And so what I'm going to do is take a look at a couple of cards, some of the cards that I want. And this is going to be tough, because basically I have to decide what kind of balance do I want. The nice thing is in this game you don't have to worry about the fact that your resources are keyed to certain spheres. Everything is all just 3 resources, and you can use them on purchasing any kind of cards, which is nice. Alright, so I'm going to try to add allies first. Let's see. I'm going to add some allies, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to save my deck so that I don't take too much time doing this, because I know it can get a little tedious watching someone build a deck. And so I'm going to try to break it up. I'm going to do a little bit of deck building today, and then next stream, and then we'll go and play some Quest 2 with the core set deck. Then next time I will finish building the deck, hopefully, and we'll take it out for a test run against Quest 3. And probably get killed, but we'll see. So I do like Bjorn, but the problem is I'm already thinking I really want Gandalf, and so if I buy another, you got to really watch your cost spread. You want a good mix of cards with the least amount of cards that cost higher amounts, because again, you're not going to be able to afford them that often. So you don't want them coming out in your hand a lot. So let's go ahead and start. I know I want Gandalf, and I've got 2 copies of him, so I'm going to start with him. He's going to be one of my high cost heroes. Let's see if there's someone else that's high cost. Warden is 3. He's pretty good. Tom is another 5. He completely defeats an enemy when he comes out, as long as they're non-unique. So basically, a non-elite, probably you can kill a non-boss monster, and that's it. Let's put one of him in. Now I probably don't want to buy any other cards that are expensive. I'm not seeing too many more expensive heroes. So now I want to get some good soldiers in here that are less expensive. I can pick Barlaman. He's pretty awesome because you can actually draw extra cards. So that one game, last game, I think I had a ton of extra resources. Couldn't find a way of spending them, but he would let me spend resources to draw extra cards. That's pretty amazing. I just have to keep him alive. He doesn't really, except for that power, he's not really attractive, hopefully, for Sauron. I'm going to put him in there, so I'd like to see what he can generate. No other allies on this page. Erebor Watchman. So this guy's awesome. He reduces damage, and he has a pretty good amount of hit points for a 1-cost card. And he's only going to be taking 1 less hit point. He seems like a good guard. I need some guards, I think. Especially if I'm going to guard Barlaman. Escort from Edoras is awesome. He has the revenge trait, which basically, when he dies, so I'm putting a lot of guards in. If he dies, it actually lets me ready another character. The only problem is if I play him, I know Sauron is going to be likely to kill him first if he's out. before I can exhaust any of my other characters. Now, let's see. Let's put one in. We'll try it out. Galadon Archer, I really love this card because when they come out, they do an automatic 1 damage. Sometimes that can make a huge effect. So here's the trick: is I've already spent 9 of my card slots on allies. I don't want to spend more than half, I think, on allies because I need some events, I need some attachments. I'm going to put some guards in here because they're amazing. They come right out and they're automatically set to guard. And they usually last at least a couple of hits. The Man of Dale is kind of cool because he's got ranged. I don't know. I'm going to hold off. He does cost 2 and he only has 1 damage that he does, so... I would almost rather have a Rohirrim Lancer, because he does 2 damage and is ranged. So let's put 1 of him in. Now the cool thing is I can put an event like Sneak Attack in, and that technically adds extra hero or extra allies to my deck because it brings in an ally for 1 round. I really like the Veteran Axe Hand. That might be my last 2 card purchases. I like Wandering Took better. I never really could find a use for him in the physical game. I can't remember what he did, but it was something like you could raise your threat and take him from someone or give him to someone, and then that person can lower their threat. It was kind of weird. It was like, I don't know how this guy provides an advantage, but here Sauron on his arrival just loses a resource, which is kind of cool. So I don't think I need Warden. I've got some pretty... I don't really have a 3-cost ally, though. Ugh. Okay, so I'm going to play 1 Warden. I may regret this, having too many allies. We'll see. And I'm going to play 2 Veterans, and then I'm at my halfway mark of cards. I definitely do not want to... Oh, and so you can delete a deck, copy it. I probably can copy the core set deck and then modify it if I wanted to. And then finally I want to save. So I think I'll save tonight because I purchased half of my cards. By purchase, I mean, you know, I've decided on my ally cards. I think that's one of the harder decisions. Now what I'm going to do when I come back is I'm going to decide what kind of events and attachments do these heroes and allies need in order to help them. And I will finish that build next time. So I'm going to save it. All you have to do is click the save because it has you name the deck. And right here now I've got a list of 2 decks, the starter deck, and I think, yeah, nope, you cannot modify it. I imagine you can just write down the names of the cards and then make your own deck starting with the starter deck and modify it, but they do not let you modify it or copy it. You basically just have it. It's locked. It's there. Which is fine. It's a good deck. I mean, I've played all 3 difficulty levels of the starter quest, so it's a pretty good deck, and we're going to see how it does on quest 2 right now. Let me know, any of you who are listening, if you can hear the sounds now on the stream, besides my sounds. So we have done all 3 levels of Addercop. Addercop, the first quest, basically going in the tutorial, which is the prologue to this campaign. Bilbo was out for a walk trying to catch up with Gloin, who was late arriving at Bjorn's Hall. And at the end of that quest, Bilbo gets kidnapped, and so he needs a party of adventurers. Gloin needs a party of adventurers to help him rescue Bilbo from the spiders in the forest. So that first quest was just trying to catch up with him. At the end of the first quest of Addercop, we found a hero, like Bjorn's brother, or no, it was someone else. Bjorn's brother was a fate reward you could get, but we rescued someone that wasn't Bilbo, so we got to continue on looking for him. And we move into the city of webs. I like that title. Tracking Bilbo's abductors to their lair, you are surprised to see spiders and orcs together. Whatever their plans are for Bilbo, you are determined to stop them. And there was a little bit of a side story going on where it seemed as though Gollum was trying to talk Shelob into capturing Bilbo so that he could have the ring and they could kill someone who had killed a lot of her people. She could have revenge. So I'm playing single player, wishing co-op was available, but I guess it'll just be maybe a few more months.
Ulfthag moves a hand to the pommel of his sheathed blade. Several spiders flinch back, but the huge female stands her ground, glowering down at the insolent orc commander. For a long moment, there is complete silence. Finally, she chitters quietly at one of the nearby spiders. The minion moves quickly into the lair to drag Bilbo's cocoon towards the gateway. As the spider drags the last cocoon before Ulfthag, a small, skinny creature flies out of the shadows, screeching, "Precious!" like a dying animal. It wraps his arms around Ulfthag's thick neck and bites his right ear. Black gore spills, and Ulfthag's furious roar joins the creature's tinny wail. The screams echo through the trees and cobwebs.
So it looks like Ulfthag has kind of thrown a wrench in the plans of Shelob and Gollum, and Gollum's decided to attack. I don't know how that's going to affect my quest. It is interesting, there's kind of a voiceover of a male character, and then every once in a while there's a female character voiceover, so I'm not sure if that's just something that's still in development. It seems as though the male has to do with the bigger campaign story, and the female is just different, about narrating the single quests.
As you make your way through the dense forest, a sudden shriek is heard from afar. Praying that hobbits are incapable of so pitiful a sound, you move quickly to investigate its source. The forest soon shows signs of giant spider webs. At first, only a few thick strands are seen between canopy and trunk, but the webbing quickly grows denser. Before long, the sticky ropes are thick enough to block your path. About to hack away at the webbing, you sense a subtle shift in the shadows and glance up. Only a few feet above your head, the myriad glare of malicious eyes observe you. The mandible drip with ichor. Bloated bodies tremble with anticipation.
Well, I love ichor. It's a great word. Mandibles drip with ichor. It's not very often you get to say that sentence. Bloated bodies tremble with anticipation. It sounds very erotic. I imagine spiders probably enjoy food.
If by life or death I can save you, I will.
Mine is the choice of Luthien.
My axe is restless in my hands.
Alright, man, it looks like there's some unique spiders here. So I have a feeling this stage is called something, something, and something. I imagine I'm fighting 3 lieutenant spiders or something. So I gotta decide what cards to keep. You can mulligan by discarding any cards you want and then drawing new cards to replace them. I can't replace them a second time, so I'm always risking getting worse cards. This is kind of a good hand because I can exhaust an enemy that's coming out. I can reduce an enemy. I've got some low cost help to bring out. I think I'll get rid of the caregiver because a lot of times obviously I'm not damaged when I start the quest. Maybe I'll get rid of one of these guys too. I'll get rid of the lookout just to see if I can get some different kinds of cards. Okay. Now I've got a couple of feints. So in this stage of the quest I have to defeat the monstrous spiders. Upkeep. I get 3 resources, so does Sauron. Now I get the first action in the adventure phase. I'm starting off with 30 threat. At 35 threat, I don't get to draw cards. That's not terrible. For 3 fate, if I decide to choose my fate, I can draw cards. At 5 fate, I can deal 4 damage to a spider. That's pretty good. At 7 cards, I get to choose attack, willpower, or hit points. Every hero in play gains +2 to the selected value. That's pretty cool, although I have a feeling that's just a one... I'm wondering if that's a permanent or a one round kind of thing. I have a hazard in play, which means that until this is... It's a voluntary, I don't have to do it, objective. Each ally that enters play is exhausted, so I can't even play allies until I get rid of this, really. Which kind of sucks. So I do, if I attack, I have to attack Dialob, who's a unique monster. He's got guard. He's got 9 hit points. That's not great. And but the nice thing is I can play Feint because I know what he wants to attack with. Why can't I play that? Oh, I know why. Look at this. It only works on non-unique enemies, and every one of these guys is unique. Sad. So I can't play Feint. It wouldn't do any good. If I play Advanced Warning, the next enemy that comes into play is going to be exhausted. It's a trap or a preparation card. Might be good to play because I can't play both of these cards, both of these allies. So I will play Advanced Warning. Oh, this is cool. So I have Willick with me, which was the reward of the quest from the previous quest. So I guess he decided to journey along with us. That's cool. I like that. I wonder if you would not get him if you didn't... Because I think you have 2 options when you complete the quest. You can either kill all the enemies or free Willick. And I wonder if you choose not to free him and just kill the enemies if you would not have him. I could see that happening. That's pretty cool. So this guy attacked Willick, and I think I'm in trouble because he only has 2 hit points left, and this guy does 2 hit points of damage. Man, I wish my Lancer would not come into play exhausted because I could attack him. Well, it wouldn't be enough damage anyway. So I should definitely go with Willick next because he's going to die, and I have to attack this guy, but at least he'll do 4 damage. Oh, and he was on guard, so he reciprocated, and so that means this other guy got to damage someone else, which is fine. So now Gimli is up to 3 damage. I could... Man, this guy's... Oh, Delub has just not gone yet. So I can't do enough to damage him completely to stop his attack. So he's going to attack anyway. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Arwen quest here, which will take off the ability for the Rohirrim Lancer. I think I'll play him. So now he doesn't come into play exhausted. Ah, but he played a Hive Guardian. Oh, but guess what? My preparation triggered, so he comes into play exhausted. So that's good. Now the question is, I don't have any resources, so I'm only going to get to play Aragorn once. I can do 4 damage to someone, and then I can do 3 damage to this guard, which I'll do with Gimli. That will finish him off. I know this guy's going to get guard when he comes back next round. So I would have to do 5 damage, which I cannot do in 1 round with anybody as of yet. So I'll prep him for a final attack next round. So far, Aragorn's taken quite a bit of hit. He's taken 4 damage. I get to heal someone, so obviously I'll heal him. I'm going to miss having Arwen with my new deck. That's okay. We'll figure it out. So the awesome thing about the Warden is he has Surge. So he's going to get 2 attacks. He basically does 4 damage. He would be a good card to bring out. And since I can't play Feint anyway, I'm either going to choose between one Veteran Axe Hand or the Warden, and I think I'll bring the Warden out.
Not on my watch.
And he gets a Surge action, which is awesome. So I can play him and then do something else, which is exactly what I want to do anyway. I didn't realize he surged right when he came out. It doesn't say Arrival. I wish it said that. Oh, okay, so if it says Surge, they gain an immediate action after this card is played. But does that mean they get Surge every round? Oh, that's Stalwart, isn't it? Yeah, that's a different keyword. So that Surge just means when you play it, you get an extra action. Different than getting a second action every round. That's okay. So I need to get rid of this guard, even though he's going to attack with his 3 damage guy. Since Arwen isn't doing much else right now, no questing available. But I could go for some Fate. But I don't think the Fate... Okay, I'll have the range guy finish this monster off. And of course, he gets to do his 3 damage. I definitely need to get rid of this guy. He does too much damage by himself. I'm afraid that he will... I'm going to put the Warden on guard. Yeah, because what I was afraid of is that he would attack Arwen and reduce her down to 4. That's really low for the first stage of the quest. So instead I had the Warden take it, even though it exhausted him to guard. He did reciprocate damage anyway, so he gets to do damage anyway. Unfortunately, it was only 1 damage because he's got block. So I don't quite have enough to destroy this last spider. Ugh. So he gained a threat by playing this Broodmother, and then gained a hatchling. No bueno. So that means I have to have Aragorn hit this guy, so...
He cannot stand
Then
alone.
this spider's probably going to attack Arwen. Nope. Kind of interesting choice. I'm going to have her apply her Fate so I can... So if I have her do that one more time, next round I can do 4 damage to a spider, which is great because this guy blocks so much damage. Okay. So I can heal somebody. Arwen. I do want to play the Warrior Sword, however, which gives me an extra attack, but the problem is that will give him an attack right after, and that may kill one of my guys. So right now, both the Warden and the Lancer can be killed with 1 hit from the guy who does 3 damage. So I think what I might do, because I think I'm going to put the Lancer on guard, because I think that will force him to use his big guy to attack, and he'll lose an extra attack damage. Yep. Okay, so I kind of forced him there to attack with his big guy, as opposed to letting, and it was opposed to attacking him, and then his big guy, you know, gets to kill anybody he wants or hit anybody he wants. I love that guard action. It's such a great ability. Even though it wastes your action, it's so worth it because you can kind of direct where the attacks are going to go. So now, Warden can survive 1 hit but not 2, so I've got to try to get rid of somebody in 2 hits. So if I have him attack with 1... Yeah, so now I can have him finished, so he won't be able to do... So basically I guess he could have gone with this guy, then that would have... I don't know. The problem is they both should have attacked the Warden and got rid of him, but...
I serve no man!
Alright. So we've got a new hazard out. Every upkeep, discard the top 3 cards from each player's deck. Wow, so I'm going to lose... I only have 21 cards, so card deck size is something I can't afford to lose. Man, I got to get rid of that now. So I definitely need to have all the quests. So at this point, I can bring out a caregiver who's going to heal and then serve as a great guard next round. I'm going to do that. Heal R1 up to full. Oh, did I just heal? No, I think she had 7, hopefully. Hopefully I didn't overheal. So I have 1 hit point left, or 1 resource left. I'm going to use that to reactivate Aragorn because I can't do anything else. So now I've got some good damage. I wish that I had something to do with this guy. Alright. So I can finish off
He cannot stand alone.
Spider. And then I've got this guy, which takes him down 2 points. And, oh, I can always do Fate with this guy. So now I can do 4 damage to a spider. Yay. Oh, but he blocks 1. That block shouldn't work on Fate, damage, whatever. I wonder if I will be able to get this permanently. Every hero in play gains +2 to cyclic value. It's gotta be just a 1-round thing. There's no way that could be forever. +2 damage, yeah, that's gotta be temporary. I really want it though. I'm not sure why it hasn't auto-passed. I can't do anything else, I don't think. New round. So here's the funny thing. I can't do enough. Oh, I get to heal someone. Keep him around a little bit longer. So the problem is I can't attack him because he blocks. I don't do more than 2 damage. So he is going to get to attack, but I could direct his attack, like with a guard, for example. So I'll bring that out. And now he's got to waste his attack against the guard. And now I have enough to damage him fatally. I'm going to go ahead and see what I can do with my fate. I'm going to try to get up to 7. Unfortunately, he's got a guard spider out now. So I'll have the guard again. Extra guard duty over time. That's not too bad. He's absorbed 4 damage. It only cost me 1 resource. That's pretty good. Plus he did some damage back. So if I do 2 more fate, now I can do this fate event, and we'll know Okay, so I gotta pick. Do I want to raise attack? Do I want to raise willpower or hit points by 2? Well, I don't want to raise hit points because he's already exhausted his guys. So I think I'm gonna go with hit point or attack value. Oh, just on heroes. Okay, so it didn't work on allies. We'll see if this is permanent or just temporary. I've got 2. Okay, so he's passed. So I think what I need to do is I need to get some more damage out here. I believe I'll give it to Aragorn because that's actually adding +2. Because if I ready him, that's technically an extra 2 damage, not an extra 1. This brother can math. Okay. And then I will also play the axe hand because these guys are great for absorbing
My
damage.
axe swings too.
And they get to attack this round still. So now I'm out of resources, but I have a huge army. This is what I love about leadership decks. I love having a lot of choice as far as what I can do each action. So Gimli's got 5 damage he can do. Obviously, I want to get rid of the big guys. The most hit points. These guys should both do enough. Captured by spiders. So some of the quests, if you remember from the last streams, you have to actually advance the quest by toggling a button. But here it looks like it's just going to auto advance. As you finish putting down the last of the giant spiders, you turn to see spiders wrapping your companions in cocoons. With a cry of alarm, you charge to the rescue, but not before being blocked by more incoming spiders. You must rescue them quickly. 2 of your heroes are captured by spiders. Select the hero you wish to remain and play. And I think I'm going to pick Aragorn. Okay, so there is a travel button still, but I had to pick those 2 heroes. This is sort of similar to the 3rd quest of the physical game, where you had to temporarily bind 2 of your heroes and then save them later and release them.
It's gone from bad to worse. You ventured into Mirkwood to free a captured hobbit, but now 2 of your party have themselves been captured. Unwholesome strands break apart with a snap as you cut and saw your way deeper into the lair. Mercifully, the web's denizens are either absent or preoccupied, for you catch only brief glances of hairy bodies moving through this world of pale webbing and grey-green murk. After slow and tiring progress, you come upon the nexus of the lair. An eldritch clearing devoid of webs, except for the huge sinister shape of a dead tree. Cocoons of many sizes hang from the branches like depraved fruit. A few of the cocoons are of the approximate size to your lost friends. One even moves fitfully. You move to open the cocoons, but the lair's inhabitants have finally noticed the intrusion into their midst. Clucking spiders soon surround you, strangely in league with several orcs.
Oh, looks like we've got an alliance or something. So I gotta open the cocoons to rescue my companions, which is a quest objective, and they kind of squirm, which is cool. So the first threat event happened. I'm not gonna draw any cards this round. That's okay, I've got plenty of resources and cards to spend them on. Or let me reverse that. Plenty of cards and resources to spend them on. So I could reduce a non-unique enemy to 0. The problem is that these guys don't really do a lot of damage. Man, I really need Arwen to help me quest right now. So I think what I'm going to do is, since... Oh, look at this. So this Fate ability, if you play this quest, you definitely want to keep this Fate ability, or you want to get that Fate ability if you can, because I believe I'm going to get this for the rest of the game. So he's now at a 5 attack, which is pretty amazing. I can also rescue the captured hero for 4 Fate. So strangely enough, I can put Fate, use Fate to release a hero. Oh, you know what? I'm wondering if some of these cocoons are not my friends, and this lets me for sure release one of my friends. Or maybe it's Bilbo. So this is a good question. If I do the cocoons, it might not release a friend, it might release an enemy. I'm guessing. Totally guessing here. I've never played this before, so I gotta decide what I want to do. I think Fate might be the better option because it does say it's going to be a friend. But I should definitely have Aragorn finish this guy off really quick.
I serve no man.
Man, this is pretty amazing. I should definitely recharge Aragorn. But I think I'm going to wait, because Sauron still has 3 resources. I'm going to wait and see if he brings out anything else, because I can finish him off with one hit with Aragorn. But right now, this guy's exhausted, so he's not too dangerous right now. I'm going to play the Lookout, because he can help me quest, or attack.
My eyes see everything.
Oh, but I... Okay, yeah, that's right. I already readied Aragorn. Yeah. Okay. I didn't see what he did. Oh, he gained Stalwart on the spider. So starting next round, he's going to get 2 attacks. But that's okay, because I will use Aragorn to finish him off before we go to next round anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the caregiver dedicate some fate. Alright, so every time I play a card, I'm going to gain some threat. I can't play any more cards this round, so I might save that hazard for later. And just focus on questing right now. I'm glad that he spent his resources on that instead of an enemy. Because that lets me dedicate another 2 willpower to threat, or to fate. And then he passes. Can't do anything else. So I release a captured hero for 4 fate. Okay, so it was one of my... So I'm thinking that these cocoons might be... I have to open the cocoons. So some of them might be dummies or enemies. So that's okay. That's what I wanted to do, was make sure I could release one of my friends first. And of course it's one of my hard-hitting friends. So, since Gimli is much better at fighting, well, I should save. I will... I'll start on one of the cocoons. And then have Gimli... Oh, that's right. Sauron's finished his turn, so he's not doing anything else. Aragorn will finish.
He cannot stand alone.
Not what you expected. You don't find what you were looking for, but you do find limbus bread. It's interesting that a squirming cocoon had limbus in it. I'm not sure I want to eat this limbus if it's squirming. Waters of the Revunion. So I just got an achievement. Use a power 100 times. Of course. I probably have used Aragorn's powers 100 times, I'm sure. So Limbus Bread is going to give me 2 hit point healing to any character, which would be great for Aragorn. But I gotta wait and see what he's going to play this round. So I'm going to definitely have my healer, who can't do anything else, quest. Ooh, so we've got a second hazard out. Oh, every time I play, I'm going to gain a threat. So I want to get rid of this quest, I forgot. This hazard. End of the round, reduce each player's hand to 3 cards. I definitely don't want to lose my hand. So I'm going to kind of play and see if he does something with his last resource. Yep. He gains a resource for every ally in play. Oh no! So he's got 3 cards left in his hand, and he's got basically replenished resources again. So he can play more guys. I definitely need to work on these two hazards.
I serve no man.
Ooh, Elder. End of the round, every spider's going to get a hit point back, okay? So he's the only hit spider. Or he's the only enemy out right now. He's going to do 3 hit points of damage. So I'm going to feint him and reduce his attack to nothing. Now I got to be careful because I gave Sauron threat. Every spider and orc is going to gain guard. Okay, that's not too bad. So I need to save a resource to get Aragorn back. I am also going to... I'm going to finish this quest so that I can play more cards. And then I also want to... I know I'm going to play Limbus, so I don't need to worry about this hazard. I'm going to have 3 cards in my hand. Hopefully it won't take any more out of my hand, but I'm going to have 3 in my hand. So I don't need to worry about this hazard. Now I can work on this objective. Hero release. Breaking open the cocoon, you find one of your lost heroes inside. Alright. Oh, okay, so this is cool. Because I did that fate event, I for sure got a hero open out of the cocoon. And then that basically meant that as soon as I found her, the other cocoon disappeared. Which probably would have been an enemy or something weird. Who knows. But she definitely is buffed up too. All my guys are buffed up. I can do a lot of stuff. What can I do? I'm going to go ahead and finish this hazard so I don't have to worry about losing cards. I can do... Oh, I gotta ready him. And then my axe hand can finish off the spider. Aragorn can add some fate. Let me draw 2 cards going into the next round. I think I'll go ahead and risk one more round because he's also got a terrible fate threat event that's going to happen. So might as well do that now. Every spider's going to gain, and orc's going to gain guard. Glad I did that now instead of next stage of the quest. I'm going to heal Aragorn. I'll have the healer add his threat. Get to draw 2 cards. There's a new spider out. So I got a bunch of cards in my hand now. I don't have anybody that can do 6 damage. Isn't that sad? Yeah, that's what I did, Joe. Thanks for reminding me, though, because you got to remember too. Those of you who might be new tuning in, the fate is actually something that every stage of the quest has a different set of fate rewards that you can get, which is really awesome. I've got all the fate for this stage. Let's see. I wonder if the fate carries over. So I have 1 now. We'll see if it carries over to the next stage. If I travel now, he's going to get to attack, but I think he's going to get to attack anyway, because I don't have enough damage. And I don't really have anything that can just... Well, I could feint him, but it's not worth it. I'm just going to travel. So he did get a damage, but... He's got another fate event coming, and I think I'm over 40
and
threat.
bloodied, the creature whimpered at the cruelness of the world. It would have been killed had the orcs not been distracted by the intruders in the lady's pantry. It had escaped into the tangled undergrowth and shrouded itself in shadows from where it had seen Ulfthak and his caravan depart. All that remained was the faint creaking of the wagons fading into the gloom. The lady remained before the gateway. When the clangor of battle from within the lair diminished, she began to shift her monstrous bulk. A strange and battle-worn band soon emerged from the webs, faces paling in despair at the sight of the bloated monster. The Lady of Bogwood, brood mother of the Western Forest, descendant of the great Ungoliant herself, lost her composure and hissed with rage. These strangers had defiled her sanctum, her lair. Punishment was due.
Ah, so this is not Shelob, it's Ungoliant Spawn, who was one of the big bosses in the physical game. I think she was the boss of the final encounter, so this is it. Then I've got a great spread. I've got to basically defeat the Ungoliant Spawn. Now the awesome thing is that whenever you start with a really huge army on a quest where you have to just basically do damage, you can really control the board pretty quickly. Deal 2 damage to up to 3 characters. Okay. Take a little damage there. I get to heal someone. I should probably heal R1. Alright. So, overcome darkness. If I spend 4, if I get 4 threat, which it did carry over. I'm sorry, I keep saying threat. Fate. Fate does carry over. So the cool thing is, if I wanted to, I could have stayed in that last stage and totally just built up Fate for 1 round and had come into this with 12. I get to exhaust Ungoliant Spawn, so I should definitely do that. These guys all do 2 damage, so I should faint someone. These guys all have guard. They all do the same damage, so I should just kill someone that has the highest hit points possible. I could also play a guard. Yeah, let's do that first. Oh no! So if I played a guard, I'd have to get rid of someone else. So I might as well put somebody on guard. And I think I will do that with a veteran axe hand, because he can take maybe a couple of hits. Alright, so obviously he's going to attack with the Ungoliant Spawn. Every hatchling spider gains +1 attack and guard, and then every upkeep it's going to add another hatchling, and it starts with the hatchling. They don't do a lot of damage, but she boosts it. And they only have 2 hit points, but every time there's a new round, they're going to bring out a new one. So I got to try to whittle these guys down fast. But I definitely want to do this Fate event with R1 later, so that I can exhaust her right away when we start next round. I think I could probably do this in a couple of rounds. So I should definitely use my big guy. Take out.
He cannot stand alone.
So now I can bring out the guard. He killed one of my guys. The guard's going to come out, take one of the hits.
The White City.
Now he's only got 1 guy left. I'm going to go ahead and guard 1 more time with the guard. Turn his overtime. Now that he's completely exhausted, and I have almost all my heroes back, and I will have Aragorn back for another attack for just 1 resource. So it's a pretty awesome trade-off. I think those guards are awesome, especially because in the next round you can re-guard them, soak up more damage, and then you've got all your heroes, especially if they're boosted in attack value like mine are. Now I can just do a huge amount of damage. So I can now I can attack who I want. So I'm going to have the Warden do just enough damage. Okay, so we've got a new spider. Doesn't do a lot of damage. I'm going to go ahead and finish him off with Gimli, though, which does reciprocate damage, but more spiders. More spiders. The bad thing is I don't really want to quest with R1 anymore, because she does a pretty good amount of damage. I'm going to go ahead and feint this guy, which reduces his attack to nothing. Sauron passes. He's finally out of resources, thankfully. I still have 6 resources to play. Let's do sneak attack. Let's see if we can bring in somebody cool.
My eyes see everything.
Okay, not bad. Athelian Lookout. He's a pretty good damage dealer slash quester. I could have him and the healer quest. Which I think I'll go ahead and have them do. That way I've got this fate event ready where I can exhaust Ungoliant Spawn. Question is, I'll go ahead and rejuvenate Aragorn. Now the question is, who do I hit? Aragorn definitely needs to hit this guy.
He cannot stand alone!
Arwen should hit this guy.
For Rivendell!
This guy could either quest or hit this guy, but I think I've got plenty of damage that I could hit him right off the bat, so I think I'll have him Fate. That's Fate. Now I can exhaust Ungoliant Spawn right away next round, and there's only one other spider. I've still got lots of money to play. Alright, so I think I'm full on heroes, right? Yeah. Can't bring any new guys out. That's okay. I'll just play other cards. I can play Limbo Spread to heal Aragorn. He's pretty low. Oh, I did not realize the Limbo Spread also unexhausted him. That's pretty amazing. So now he can finish off the last spider besides Ungoliant Spawn who could do anything next round. Self-preservation every round. Someone's going to heal. That's definitely good for Aragorn. I don't have any resources left. That's okay. I don't really need to block. It's better to have an upkeep heal. I'm glad I played that instead of the shield. Alright, so I've ended the turn. Got a good amount of threat, not too worrisome, and I think I'm going to end it this turn so I don't have to worry about Ungoliant Spawn healing 7 hit points, maybe. Hopefully I don't have to worry about this. Arwen's going to heal herself. Aragorn automatically heals himself. Oh! Okay, so I'm going to exhaust Ungoliant Spawn. That's cool. And now it's just this guy I got to deal with. I will have... And I love that the fate events are not an action, so I can still do an action. I'll have my lowly guy attack. So I still got my hard hitters left. Okay, so he's dealing 1 damage to every ally with Tribulation. Not bad. Not enough. He's only got 1 resource left. This spider does not have block, so I could do 12 damage just with these guys that are left. But why would I want to do that when I could sneak attack and see what I get?
The hour is at hand.
Man of Dale. So he gains a threat. So next round he is going to heal Ungoliant Spawn, so I should probably hit this. I could play a Galadon Archer. Deal 1 damage with her. I've got a full complement of heroes.
Shoot you in the
or
dark.
allies, army, whatever. Sauron gained 1 resource as revenge. That's okay. We'll give him a resource. He plays gain 2 +2 attack. Oof, driven by shadow. So that's a permanent +2 attack. If that would probably matter if
He cannot
she
stand
was going to
alone!
get to go again, which she's not. So we'll have all the heroes take 1 last
Rivendell!
shot. The Spawn's demise. The foul beast rears and thrashes as it falls to the ground.
The forest floor is awash with the marks of iron-shod feet and wagon tracks. You begin slowly to make sense of the situation. The spiders are gathering slaves for a host of orcs, intended for some devilry yet to be understood. Deep in the horde, you hike a sensible distance from the spider's lair to camp for the night, unsure of what to do next. As the shadows coalesce into night, you hear someone, something, creeping through the undergrowth beyond the firelight. After silent glances, a few nods, and a quick dash, Creep is quickly caught. Shrieking like a stuck pig, it bites and flails about with surprising strength. Its energy soon spent, the creature curls itself into a sobbing ball. You catch a few words amongst its rambling litany of self-pity, such as precious and... a name? Could it be? How that name would be known to the wretch you cannot guess, for the creature is muttering...
So the tables have turned. I now have Gollum. The orcs have Bilbo, I'm guessing. Oh, they changed the reward screen, at least here. Maybe the reward screen on replays is different. But here I've gotten 240, which is actually probably my highest score ever. 275 is the max I could get. I probably could have gotten a couple, maybe two more threat or fate events. Maybe my health could have been a little higher. My threat was really high. Oh, here we go. So I did unlock the first stage for using each of these heroes, which is an additional 50 Valor for each. I have to get a score of 250, which I was really close, to get an extra Palantir view for each hero. So that would have been awesome if I'd scored just 10 more points. Like if I had some threat reduction or something I played, I would have had plenty to get the three more Palantir views, which is awesome. Alright, well, I have completed Quest 2, and we'll be moving on to Quest 3 next time, as well as finish building my deck, and we'll take it out for a test run at some point. Maybe next mission I'll take it on Quest 3 instead of the core deck. We'll see how terrible that goes. Hopefully it'll be cool. Once again, we're kind of ending a little bit early tonight, but that's alright. We got a good amount of stuff in. Some look at the deck builder, a look at another Palantir review. I'll do another one next week, and then playing the second quest. We'll be playing the third one next week, maybe with our new deck that we built. Other than that, there's not really much else to look at here in early access. But again, just as a reminder, this is early access, so even if some of the balance and everything seems a little off, that's something they're definitely going to tweak. I, for one, think it's got a good mix, a really good story, definitely so far, some great mechanics, things that are going on that are definitely different than the physical card game, and I think will make it really fun, especially if I think one thing they should try to ramp up is maybe either some harder levels that you could play it on. I'm not exactly sure how you make it much harder, though, but Sauron definitely could use a little bit of tweaks as far as his AI and determining who to attack. But overall, I think it's definitely a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to streaming that again with you guys next Tuesday, same time. And between now and then, if you're interested, please don't hesitate to tune into our Table Flippin' Games vodcast, stream, whatever, where we're playing the last stage, the last encounter of the Gloomhaven campaign starting this Saturday. And then we'll be looking for a new game to play. So if you want to jump in on something new, we'll just be getting ready to start doing that. So until then, I'll see you guys next week. And I do have the VODs caught up as of last week, and I'll put this one on as soon as I get a chance. So if you want to, you can also look me up I'm GameFaceKilla 21. You have to add the 21 for YouTube, and you can find me on there in my videos. I've got the first 4 episodes already on there for you to watch, and I'll have this next one up very soon. So until then, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.